In the tapestry of our universe, the Bible presents both stories of light and shadow. It reveals the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, a unity of perfect love. But in Revelation we find a dark imitation, the Unholy Trinity. This trio, the dragon, Satan, the beast, worldly power, and the false prophet, deceptive religion, forms a counterfeit alliance, seeking to draw humanity away from God. They're not just ancient symbols, they represent ongoing forces of deception, oppression, and false worship. By understanding this unholy trinity, we gain wisdom to recognize and resist the patterns of evil that persist in every age. The dragon, a figure of immense significance in biblical prophecy, looms large in the narrative of Revelation. This ancient serpent, often depicted as a fearsome red dragon, embodies the very essence of evil and opposition to God. He is plainly identified as Satan in Revelation, leaving no room for ambiguity about his true nature and identity. The scriptures unveil him as the primary antagonist in the cosmic battle between good and evil. He is the prime mover of rebellion against God, the instigator of discord, and the architect of defiance against divine authority. His influence permeates the world, stirring up unrest and inciting disobedience. Described as a great red dragon, a symbol of his destructive power and fiery wrath, he commands attention and inspires fear. This imagery underscores the magnitude of the threat he poses to humanity and God's creation. He embodies immense power and deception, wielding both with cunning and precision to achieve his malevolent goals. His strength is formidable, and his ability to mislead is unparalleled. He is leading the world astray not just through terror, instilling fear and panic to control populations and manipulate events, but also through subtle lies and manipulation, weaving intricate webs of deceit to ensnare the unsuspecting and distort the truth. His methods are insidious, preying on vulnerabilities and exploiting weaknesses. He is the master counterfeiter, adept at creating illusions and imitations that mimic the genuine, leading people away from authentic faith and true worship. He is seeking worship that belongs only to God, craving the adoration and reverence that are rightfully reserved for the divine. His ego knows no bounds, and his ambition is insatiable. And empowering the beast and the false prophet, these figures serve as his earthly agents, carrying out his agenda and furthering his dominion over humanity. His conflict with God's people is relentless, an ongoing battle that spans generations, testing the faith and endurance of believers throughout history. He is making war against those who hold to faith, persecuting and oppressing those who remain steadfast in their devotion to God, seeking to silence their voices and extinguish their light. Yet, his power is limited, constrained by the sovereignty of God and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. He is a defeated enemy, his fate sealed and his destiny predetermined. Despite his efforts, his ultimate demise is assured. He is cast out and destined for judgment, awaiting the final reckoning when he will be held accountable for his actions and banished from God's presence forever. Recognizing the dragon's tactics, understanding his strategies and methods, is crucial for believers to protect themselves from his influence. This helps believers remain vigilant and reliant on God's strength, drawing upon divine resources to resist temptation and overcome adversity. The dragon is the ultimate adversary, the embodiment of all that is opposed to God and his kingdom. But he is not the final victor, for God's triumph is assured, and his light will ultimately dispel the darkness, ushering in an era of peace and righteousness. From the sea emerges the beast, a monstrous figure echoing Daniel's visions of oppressive empires. The beast symbolizes corrupt political and military power, demanding total allegiance and waging war against God's people. Empowered by the dragon, it mimics Christ with a counterfeit resurrection, drawing global awe and worship. Its authority is vast, blaspheming God and persecuting the faithful. The beast is a warning against the seduction of absolute power and the dangers of a world system hostile to faith. It challenges us: will we worship the Creator or the creation? The story of the beast reminds us that true authority comes only from God. The false prophet, a figure shrouded in mystery and wielding immense power. This individual, often referred to as the second beast, represents a grave threat to spiritual truth and genuine faith. We must understand the nature of this deception to safeguard ourselves against its influence. The second beast, a formidable entity, rises from the earth, signifying an origin deeply rooted in the material world, in contrast to the spiritual realm. This emergence symbolizes a departure from divine principles, a grounding in earthly ambitions and desires. appearing gentle like a lamb, projecting an image of innocence and harmlessness, but speaking with the voice of the dragon, revealing its true allegiance and the source of its power. This duality is the essence of its deception. This figure is a master of religious deception, skillfully manipulating spiritual concepts for its own purposes, using signs and wonders, performing acts that appear miraculous to captivate and mislead, to direct worship toward the first beast, consolidating power and reinforcing a false system of belief. It creates an image of the beast, a symbol of authority and a focal point for devotion, demanding reverence and obedience, enforcing worship, compelling adherence through coercion and manipulation, suppressing dissent and independent thought, and even instituting the infamous mark of the beast, a visible sign of allegiance, a brand that signifies submission to its authority, controlling commerce and allegiance, wielding economic power to reward loyalty and punish defiance, creating a system of dependence and control. The false prophet fuses religion and state, blurring the lines between spiritual guidance and political power, creating a dangerous alliance, turning faith into a tool of oppression, twisting sacred principles to justify control and suppress individual freedom. Miracles alone are not proof of truth. They can be staged, manipulated, and used to deceive. They can be used for profound deception, masking ulterior motives and leading people down a path of falsehood. This figure warns us of the dangers, the subtle and insidious ways in which deception can take root. When spiritual authority is twisted for political gain, when the pursuit of power overshadows the pursuit of truth. The false prophet is a counterfeit spirit, a deceptive imitation of genuine spiritual guidance, leading many astray, drawing them away from the path of truth and into a web of lies and manipulation. The Unholy Trinity's power lies in their coordinated mimicry of the Holy Trinity. The dragon is the anti-Father, the beast the Antichrist, and the false prophet the anti-Spirit. Together, they launch a comprehensive assault, spiritual, political, and religious, on humanity. Their unity creates a self-reinforcing system. The dragon empowers, the beast rules, and the false prophet deceives. This alliance appeals to humanity's longing for saviors and meaning, but offers only counterfeits. Their ultimate goal is open rebellion against God, culminating in the Battle of Armageddon. Their coordination is a dark mirror of divine unity, showing evil's organized intent. The Unholy Trinity isn't just prophecy, it's more than just words written on ancient scrolls. It's a living, breathing reality that shapes our world every single day. Understanding this concept is crucial because it provides a framework, a lens through which we can interpret the events unfolding around us. It's a lens for understanding the temptations we face, the subtle whispers that lead us astray, the alluring promises that mask hidden dangers. It allows us to dissect the motivations behind actions, both our own and those of others, and to see the underlying patterns that connect seemingly disparate events. Pride, that insidious voice that tells us we are better than others, that our accomplishments are solely our own doing. Lust for power, the insatiable hunger to control and dominate, often at the expense of others' well-being and freedom. This is the desire that corrupts even the noblest intentions. And false spirituality, the deceptive allure of practices and beliefs that masquerade as genuine faith, but ultimately lead us away from true connection with the divine. These forces challenge us to discern the true source of authority, to critically evaluate the messages we receive and the influences that shape our decisions, and to question whether leaders and systems point us toward God or away from Him. Are they guiding us towards compassion, justice, and truth, or are they leading us down a path of self-interest, division, and deception? The narrative explains why faith often brings conflict with worldly systems, because true faith challenges the status quo, questions injustice, and demands accountability, and why endurance is essential. The path of faith is not always easy. It requires perseverance, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to truth, even in the face of adversity. It reframes personal struggles as part of a cosmic story, reminding us that we are not alone in our battles, that our individual experiences are interwoven with a larger narrative of good versus evil, offering comfort and resolve. It provides solace in times of despair and strengthens our determination to overcome obstacles. Most importantly, it's not meant to instill fear, to paralyze us with anxiety about the future, but to deepen faith and appreciation for the genuine Christ. It's about fostering a deeper understanding of His teachings, His love, and His sacrifice. By recognizing the counterfeit, by identifying the false promises and deceptive ideologies that surround us, we cling more tightly to the truth, we strengthen our connection to what is real, authentic, and enduring. The story calls us to vigilance and hope in God's unshakable kingdom. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times there is always light, always hope, and always the promise of a better future. The story of the Unholy Trinity is not the end, it sets the stage for ultimate victory and redemption. Revelation assures us that the reign of evil is temporary and destined for defeat. The Lamb, Jesus Christ, triumphs as King of Kings, offering hope beyond the shadows. Our response is not fear, but faithful resilience, cultivating truth, integrity, and love in a world of deception. The real battle is spiritual, calling us to put on God's armor and stand firm. Understanding the Unholy Trinity equips us to resist deception and trust in God's promises. In the end, light overcomes darkness, and God's love prevails forever.